New language is fine. Okay. So today I'm going to talk on genius matrix model for therapy. So I know all of you are into psychology and you are into therapy, counseling, coaching, training, and different areas of psychology. I have been into this field for last 23 years into counseling and 33 years into psychology, student of psychology. I have spent enough time to study psychology and to understand it well. And as you know, many of you know, I am very passionate, obsessed with the concept of genius. So for me, genius is not a person who has IQ or who has invented something or discovered something. For me, genius is someone who contributed something to the mankind, who contributed something to the society. And for me, genius is a person, according to Carl Rogers, fully functioning person. Okay, little bit louder. Am I audible now? Right? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Perfect, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
right.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For me, genius means not a high achieved person. For me, genius is a fully functioning person, described by Carl Rogers and uh, self-actualized person by Abraham Maslow. Right. So, according to genius matrix, a genius is a person who crossed all the boundaries, all the limitations of his matrix, and who contributed something to the mankind across the ages. Okay. Right. Today I'm going to talk on this topic, genius matrix. So, how you can adopt this for therapy or counseling? Okay, let me share my uh, sharing not turned on. Can you please allow me to share my PPT?
Yes, sir, it is enabled now.
Please. Okay. Right. Right. So today topic is beyond diagnosis, the genius matrix approach to preventing psychological disorders. So as a psychologist or as a therapist, you always provide your services to the people who came to you with a problem, right?
Smart.
So people approach us with the different problems like anxiety or depression or academic problems or marital problems or many kind of psychological problems. So they approach when many very few approach a psychologist and you provide your counseling and therapeutic services or marital counseling or educational counseling, whatever it is. Is it okay? Is it okay? And you know that there are very less mental health professionals in India. I think it is 0.75 for a lakh. So is it okay to provide counseling to the needy people, or is it better to prevent psychological problems or psychological disorders? I strongly believe in preventing psychological problems or psychological disorders. Prevention is better than cure. I strongly believe in that. So that's why I developed this genius matrix model for academic and therapeutic approach. So let me introduce, so this is my story. So what is your story? What is your uh, experience with your clients? Can any of you share your experience with your clients? What kind of problems you are dealing? What kind of people approach you? Or what kind of therapeutic models do you use? Any one of you? Can you share your story? Any one of you? Are you ready? Share your story with a client. Share your story with clients. Okay, no issues. What if we could decode disorders before they took root? That's what I told you. So మనము ప్రాబ్లం వచ్చిన తర్వాత హెల్ప్ చేయటం కంటే అసలు ప్రాబ్లం రాకుండా అసలు రూట్ లెవెల్లోనే దాన్ని ప్రివెంట్ చేస్తే ఎలా ఉంటుంది? The total scenario will get changed and there would be less problems, less disorders, and people will be happy. So what is a matrix? What is a matrix? How many of you watched the movie Matrix? Can you raise your hands? You can raise your hands in the this there. You can raise your hands. How many of you? Or you can message in the chat box. Long ago watch, not remember. Okay. Okay. If you are not watch that movie, please watch. There are 3 parts are there. Matrix movies. You can watch it later. Right. Matrix is nothing but a framework. A framework. Right. A framework of thinking. We can call simply mindset. Mindset. So how do you develop a mindset? How do you develop a mindset? Is it intentional or unintentional? Is it conscious or unconscious? Do you put any effort to develop a mindset? Generally, it's a no. We adapt. Mindset is a mix of your beliefs, values, attitudes, aptitudes, and your behavior, your thinking pattern. All this comes under matrix. This creates a framework of your thinking. Framework of your thinking and your experiences, your life experiences. And all this creates a framework of your thinking, framework of your mindset. So from that mindset, you start thinking, you start evaluating, you start interpreting the events that whatever happened in your life. మన జీవితంలో అందరి జీవితాల్లో కష్టాలు సుఖాలు అన్నీ ఉంటాయి. Everyone has ups and downs, everyone has good and bad and painful events and happy moments, and all these things are there in everyone's life. But how you are interpreting those events depends on your matrix, or your mindset, or your framework, right? So usually in my 20 years of experience, 23 years of experience in counseling, I have observed that many of the psychological disorders, the root causes are in childhood experiences. Many of the psychological disorders are arise from the childhood experiences. So because of many of the parents don't know how to raise a child and how to deal with a child, and how to make them to learn emotional regulation, emotional control, and all these things. Many parents are not aware of it. So how many of you watched this recent viral video of Raghu Engineering College? ఎంతమంది చూసారు ఆ వీడియో? You can raise your hands or you can text in the chat box. ఎంతమంది చూసారు? Raghu Engineering College video, the viral video of a student slapped a teacher. Right? What would be the reason? There are many judgmental comments on social media, many viral videos on that viral video, many judgmental videos, right? And so everyone accusing the student, everyone everyone giving judgments on the students' behavior and the educational system and the parenting and all these things. But no one is trying to find out the root cause of that behavior. Right? That maybe she has been a kind of environment. She has been into that environment, or they might have a previous problem, previous conflict with the lecturer, or she might be, um, she might have emotional regulations problems. We don't know, but we are passing judgments on social media on that girl, right? So there is a study on adverse childhood experiences. This is conducted by Center for uh, Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Disease Control and Prevention, right? So there is a study that 60% of people had at least one adverse childhood experience. 12.5% had three and or more adverse childhood experiences. If a person had 4 plus ACEs, there is 460% higher depression risk. 460%. Just imagine how much chance is there that a person should get into depression. If the person has 4 plus ACEs, there is 1220% of higher suicide attempt risk. If the person had 4% of ACEs, 7% is higher alcoholism risk. If the person had 4 plus ACEs, up to 20 years lower life expectancy. That means you observe how the childhood experiences has impact on the mental health of a person. 400%, 460% is higher risk. Just imagine. What are these adverse childhood experiences means? Means physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, physical neglect, emotional neglects, domestic violence, substance abuse at home, mental illness in home, parental separation or divorce, inseparate family member. Let me ask you, let me respond genuinely. How many of you have any one of these adverse childhood experience? At least one. Just text me. మీలో ఎంతమంది ఇందులో కనీసం ఒక ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అయినా మీ లైఫ్లో ఉంది? I need the session should be interactive. Yes. 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 Yes, that's good. That's good. Right? How many of you have? How many of you have 4 plus 4 plus ACs? 4 plus ACs. Now answer me. How many of you have 4 plus ACs? More than 4 mentioned in those experiences, trying to overcome. Yes, sir. Yes. Many people have 1, 2, 3, 4. It is very common in Indian families, physical abuse. Means not sexual abuse, physical abuse. Means పిల్లల్ని కొట్టడం అనేది it's a very common practice. Isn't it? It's a very common practice. పిల్లల్ని కొట్టడం అది హక్కుగా భావిస్తారు మన పేరెంట్స్. మొన్న ఆ పాప ఆ అమ్మాయి బిహేవ్ గురించి మాట్లాడిన వాళ్ళు కూడా టీచర్ కొడుతుందండి, తిడుతుందండి, తప్పేంటి? That is called emotional abuse. స్టూడెంట్ని కొట్టడము, తిట్టడము, అవమానించడము, 10 మంది ముందు ఎమోషనల్ అబ్యూస్. Isn't it? Right. Domestic violence. Many families gone through this domestic violence. Isn't it? Many families have a alcoholic at home, in home. Isn't it? And many families neglect the children's emotional development. They may feed you well. They may pay your fees. They may provide you all the things, but not the emotional support. And very few people go through the sexual abuse, even. All these things are there in everyone's life. These adverse sexual childhood experiences lead to many of the psychological problems or psychological disorders. They will turn into your attachment style. Your childhood experiences turn into your attachment style. And these attachment styles will decide your behavior even in your marital life or your career, in your professional life or in your adult life. So childhood experiences plays a vital role in shaping your mindset, shaping your perception, and shaping your psychological disorders. That's my observation. That's my observation. Right? So that's the reason for the student suicides in India. Student suicide rates are increasing in India day by day. Even the students who got seat in IITs and IIMs and NEET, they are committing suicides. How pathetic situation it is. IIT students means he is intelligent. He has achieved something very great. Between 2005 and 24, 115 students from IIT died by suicide. 115 students. And IIT Madras reported the highest number, 26 cases. IIT Kanpur, 18. IIT Kharagpur, 13. 2019 and 24, 37 suicide occurs across 11 of the 23 IITs. Both IIT Hyderabad and IIT Madras reported 7 cases each by IIT Delhi. Is it not a pathetic condition of a mental health situation in India? And need JEE aspirants in Kota. Kota. How many of you watched the Kota Factory series on, I think it is on Amazon. How many of you watched that? Please respond on, I watched it. Good. No, please watch it. Please watch it. And how many of you watched the series on Netflix, Adolescence? Adolescence series on Netflix. Adolescence series on Netflix. If you didn't watch it, please watch. As a psychologist, you need to watch these two series to understand the psychology of a teenager, of an adolescent. So you need to watch them. As a psychologist, we need to watch such a series to understand the psychology of adolescents. JIT Kota factory is, you can understand the situation of Kota. In 2023, Kota witnessed 26 student suicides, the highest in a calendar year since 2015. 26 students had committed suicide. Right? And you know what the prevention measures they have taken? You know? మీకు ఎవరికైనా తెలిస్తే చెప్పండి. What are the prevention measures they have taken? Of course, in 2024, there was reported 50% decline in student suicides in Kota compared to the previous year. Okay. You know what are the prevention measures they have taken? Please, any one of you. Any one of you. మీకు తెలుసా? స్టూడెంట్ సూసైడ్ కోసం వాళ్ళు చేసిన ప్రివెన్షన్ మెథడ్ ఏంటంటే, నో, రోషిని కాదండి.
ఫ్యాన్స్ కి స్ప్రింగ్స్ పెట్టారు సార్. 12.5 కేజీస్ కన్నా ఎక్కువ వెయిట్ ఉంటే ఆ స్ప్రింగ్స్ కిందకి వచ్చి వాళ్ళకి బయట సైరన్ డిస్ప్లే అవుతది. ఏ రూమ్ లో ఫ్యాన్ అలా కిందకి వచ్చిందని.
ఫ్యాన్స్ కి స్ప్రింగ్ ఫ్యాన్స్ పెట్టారు. Is it the right solution, man? Is it the right solution? Yes, it prevented 50% of decline, 50% decline in suicide rates. Is it the right prevention, right method to prevent suicides? No, not at all.
Lot of methods are there to get
You
suicide.
need to empower the students. You need to make the students to understand the situation and to control their emotional regulation. You need to make them to have the skills, emotional regulation skills, right? So this is the situation in India. Student suicide rates are increasing. Even mental health landscape in India. So 14.6% of the population has mental health problems, right? Youth psychiatric comorbidity is 7.3. School-based mental health issues 23.3. Suicide rate 12.4 per lakh, right? And we have only 0.75 psychiatrists per 1 lakh people. Huge gap is there, and there are very less clinical psychologists, and there are psychologists, but who has no skills or semi-skilled, and who has their own theories without studying well, without doing any research. They are proposing their own theories. This is the present situation of mental health in India. It's a danger. It's alarming situation. We are in an alarming situation, and these problems are increasing day by day. There are several reasons are there, because of family relations are decreasing, right? And there is no bonding with people, and the people are engaging with more with smartphones. So there are so many other reasons are there. So, but what to do? How to deal with it? That is the question. I strongly believe in this. It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. That's my focus. That's my focus. I want to build strong children. That's why I have developed this genius matrix model. My concern is children and parents. Because if the child has good childhood experiences, suddenly he would have good mindset, good perception, and good mental health. A strong, resilient mind. A growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. Right. Let us see the problem. What is the problem with the current paradigm? What is the problem with current paradigm? So therapy often starts post breakdown, when damage is already done. అంతే కదా. కౌన్సిలింగ్ కానివ్వండి, థెరపీ కానివ్వండి, ఎనీ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ థెరపీ ఎప్పుడు ఇస్తున్నాము ప్రాబ్లం వచ్చాక. అంటే ఆ వ్యక్తి యాంగ్జైటీనో, డిప్రెషనో, సూసైడాలిటీనో, లేకుంటే ఓసిడీనో, బోర్డర్లైన్ పర్సనాలిటీనో, ఎనీథింగ్, ఏదో ఒక ప్రాబ్లం వచ్చాక వాళ్ళు గుర్తించి మన దగ్గరకు వస్తే అప్పుడు మనం థెరపీ స్టార్ట్ చేస్తున్నాం, రైట్? అండ్ రాగానే ఏం చేస్తున్నాము? డయాగ్నోస్టిక్ మోడల్స్ కెన్ లేబుల్ ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ లిబరేట్. మనం ఏం చేస్తాము? మీకు డిప్రెషన్ ఉందండి, మీకు యాంగ్జైటీ ఉందండి, మీరు బీపీడీ ఉందండి, బైపోలార్ డిజార్డర్, మీది స్కిజోఫ్రెనియా అండి, లేకపోతే మీ పిల్లాడు ADHD అండి, మీ అబ్బాయి ఆర్టిస్టిక్ అండి, So we are labeling the child, labeling the people. Any diagnostic model, whether it is ICD or DSM, we are labeling the people. So then what would happen? Parenting, schooling, and society contribute heavily, but go unaddressed. What are the reasons for these problems? I always say one thing. Every child is a born potential genius. But parents, schooling, teachers, and society de-genius them. Because these are the main people that contribute in development of a child's thinking pattern, a child's personality. Right? But no one taking care of these things, these people. There is no parenting coaching in India. Very less, very less. Okay? The schooling, the schools are focusing only on marks and ranks, not on the well-being of the child. The society respect only the child who got rank, not a one who is happy. As a psychologist, as a developer of Genius Matters, I value the happiness of the child than the achievements of the child. Is your child happy or not? This plays major role in his life than his achievements. The ultimate goal, emotional neglect, verbal abuse, comparison trauma, don't always meet diagnostic criteria, but they condition the psyche early on. దీన్ని ఎవరు మెజర్ చేస్తారా? ఇది ఏమన్నా డయాగ్నోస్టిక్ క్రైటీరియాలో ఉన్నాయా? ఎమోషనల్ నెగ్లెక్ట్ అనేది లేదు. వెర్బల్ అబ్యూజ్ ఉందా? లేదు. కంపారిజన్ ఉందా? లేదు. ఫిజికల్ అబ్యూజ్ ఉందా? లేదు. These are the contributing factors, but there is no diagnostic criteria. But these things will contribute to the problem. A disorder is often a response to a disordered environment. How many of you agree with me? Say yes. A disorder is often a response to a disordered environment. If you are agreeing with me, say yes. Yes. Just type yes. Right? So how many of you recollect the definition of personality by Alport? The definition of personality by Alport is the dynamic adjustment of internal and external environment. The dynamic adjustment of internal and external environment. That is a simple definition of personality. If the person adjusted well with his internal and external environment, he would be the happy person and well-adjusted person. If the person is not adjusted with his internal environment or external environment, then he would get into problems. A disordered environment contribute to disorders. Whether it is home, or school, or friends, or many factors are there. Right? So, చిన్న విషయాలకు కూడా పెద్ద ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ తో ఫీల్ అయ్యే వాళ్ళు, సూసైడ్ అటెంప్ట్ చేసేవాళ్ళు మనకు తెలుస్తూనే ఉంటుంది. మనం పేపర్లో చదువుతూ ఉంటాం. చదివినప్పుడల్లా నాకు మనసు అయ్యో అనిపిస్తుంది. మన పేపర్లో రిపోర్టర్స్ ఎంత ఇన్హ్యూమన్ గా రాస్తారంటే, నాకు ఐ థింక్ 2-3 years బ్యాక్ కుర్రాడు పేరు మర్చిపోయాను. ఒక ఐఐటి కుర్రాడు, ట్రిపుల్ కుర్రాడు, ఐఐటి కుర్రాడు హైదరాబాద్ లో పేపర్లో వచ్చిన న్యూస్ ఏంటంటే, తన యూట్యూబ్ ఛానల్స్ కు లైక్స్ రావడం లేదని, వ్యూస్ రావట్లేదని యువకుడి ఆత్మహత్య. ఇది పేపర్లో రాసిన న్యూస్. తన యూట్యూబ్ ఛానల్కు వ్యూస్ లైక్స్ రావట్లేదని యువకుడి ఆత్మహత్య. ఎందుకు అది నాకు ఎందుకు యూట్యూబ్ ఛానల్ ఎందుకని నేను జస్ట్ ఐ గెట్ ఇన్ టు ఇట్, డిగ్ ఇట్. ఐ రియల్లీ హార్ట్ బ్రోకెన్ దట్ నైట్. నాకు అసలు ఒక 2-3 రోజులు నేను మనిషిగా ఉండలేకపోయాను. ఈవెన్ ఐఎమ్ ఏ సీజన్డ్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్డ్ సైకాలజిస్ట్. ఎందుకంటే ఆ కుర్రాడు ఫోర్త్ క్లాస్ ఉన్నప్పుడు, 5th క్లాస్ ఉన్నప్పుడు రాసుకున్నాడు సూసైడ్ చేసుకోవాలని. ఎందుకు? వాళ్ళ ఫాదరు సైంటిస్టు, మదరు ప్రిన్సిపాలు, వీళ్ళిద్దరి మధ్య రెగ్యులర్ గొడవలు జరుగుతూ ఉంటాయి. వీళ్ళ గొడవల్లో పడి నోబడీ కేర్స్ అబౌట్ దిస్ బాయ్. ఈ సఫర్డ్ ఎ లాట్, ఎమోషనల్ అబ్యూస్, ఫిజికల్ అబ్యూస్, నెగ్లెక్ట్, ఫిజికల్ నెగ్లెక్ట్, ఎమోషనల్ నెగ్లెక్ట్, సో మెనీ థింగ్స్. ఎవడు పట్టించుకునేవాళ్ళు కాదు. వాడు అపార్ట్మెంట్ పైకి ఎక్కాడు 4th క్లాస్ 5th క్లాస్ లో, నోట్లో రాసుకున్నాడు నేను సూసైడ్ చేసుకోవాలని చెప్పేసి. సో బట్ సమ్హౌ he got a seat in IIIT or IIT something somewhere. అప్పుడు వాడు ఒక యూట్యూబ్ ఛానల్ స్టార్ట్ చేశాడు. అక్కడ he got some happiness. వాడికి ఒక గుర్తింపు వచ్చింది, ఒక మనిషిగా వాడికి గుర్తింపు వచ్చింది. అక్కడికి గుర్తింపు వచ్చి వాడు హ్యాపీగా ఫీల్ అవడం మొదలుపెట్టాడు. కానీ ఈ మీన్ టైంలోనే అంతకుముందే he started creating another self. తనతో తను మాట్లాడుకునేవాడు, తనలో ఇంకొక మనిషి ఉన్నాడని ఆ మనిషితో మాట్లాడుకోవడం మొదలుపెట్టేసి. Illusions, hallucinations has been developed, and finally he committed suicide. And he wrote 7 pages of suicide letter. 7 pages of suicide letter. His pain, his agony, the situation, what made him to leave this world. Who are the culprits? Is that boy or the parents? Nobody file a case on the parents. Nobody find fault with the parents. And the bloody media wrote that a boy committed suicide because of he's not getting views for his YouTube channel. వాడు ఆ లెటర్లో ఏం రాశాడంటే, నేను నా జీవితంలో సంతోషంగా ఏదైనా ఉంటే నా యూట్యూబ్ ఛానల్ ద్వారానే, అక్కడే నాకు ఒక గుర్తింపు, నన్ను ఒక మనిషిగా గుర్తించారు, నాకంటూ ఒక గుర్తింపు వచ్చిందని రాశాడు. నేను అదంతా ట్రాన్స్లేట్ చేసి ఆ లెటర్ మొత్తం డౌన్లోడ్ చేసి ట్రాన్స్లేట్ చేసి నేను యూట్యూబ్ మన ఫేస్బుక్ వాళ్ళ పైన పోస్ట్ చేశాను. రియల్లీ షాక్డ్ విత్ దట్ లెటర్. This is the problem with the current paradigm. We are helping the people after the problem started, when the damage is already done, and we are labeling. Right? So this is the problem with current paradigm of specific disorders and genetics. And many of the people, especially the psychiatrists, they say that the problem is in the genes. It is biological. Okay. So schizophrenia, 70 to 80% is heritability. Bipolar, 60 to 80%. Depression, 30 to 50%. Anxiety disorder, 30 to 40%. Autism, 70 to 90%. ADHD, 70 to 80%. They attribute the disorders to genes. వాళ్ళ జీన్స్ లో ఉన్నాయండి, హెరిడిటరీగా వచ్చినాయండి ప్రాబ్లమ్స్, హెరిడిటరీగా వచ్చినాయండి. మనం ఏం చేయలేమండి, అందుకే మెడికేషన్ ఇస్తామండి. ఐ హావ్ సీన్ ఏ సైకియాట్రిస్ట్ ఆన్ సోషల్ మీడియా. ఈ ఆల్వేస్ ఫైండ్ దేనికైనా కానీ మెడిసిన్ వాడాలండి, ఈ కౌన్సిలింగ్ థెరపీలు వేస్ట్ అండి, వీటి వల్ల ఏం ఉపయోగం లేదని రాస్తా ఉంటాం. ఐ పిటీ హిమ్. We need medication for severe problems, certainly. ఏ ప్రాబ్లం అయినా కానీ, whether depression or anxiety or స్కిజోఫ్రెనియా ఎనీ సివియర్గా ఉన్నప్పుడు ఖచ్చితంగా మెడికేషన్ అవసరం ఫర్ ఇమీడియట్ రిలీఫ్. But medication could not resolve the issue at the root cause. Yes? Time ante na cheppandi. Sorry. Okay. Oh, it is 7:46. I have only 15 minutes, man. Oh, English. Okay. Right. Right. So, think of your last 5 clients. How many of their core issues were rooted in childhood patterns and poor parenting? Just think of your 5 clients. If you haven't looked into it, now onwards, look into their childhood experiences. Right? So, but the thing is, gene plus environment, the genetic predisposition and life experiences, these two things will interact together. And then they will impact the brain, the chemicals in the brain, and that leads to the behavioral emotional symptoms or emotional disorders or psychological disorder, whatever it is. Genes alone could not be the reason for disorders. It is interaction with the environment. Right? Interaction with the environment. So that is what epigenetics says. Epigenetics means the expression of genes. Genes are there, but the working of genes, expression of genes depends on the environment. Genes, fixed destiny, that the traditional thing. Epigenetics says flexible. They are flexible in expression. If the right environment, the positive environment is there, the trigger couldn't be, the problem couldn't be triggered. Risk inevitable, no. Modifiable. Change limited, no. Biologically possible. Healing psychological, no. Biological and psychological. Legacy inherited trauma, no. Transformed. You can transform the inheritance. Epigenetics says that you can work on the genes, you can change the expression of genes. You may not change the genes, but you can change the expression of genes, how they are working. It depends on the epigenetics. Epigenetics depends on the environment. So environment plays vital role on the working state of your genes. Means your environment plays vital role. That made me to develop the genius matrix model. Matrix means your home, your school, your environment, the society you are living. This is called matrix. This is a framework. This matrix will decide how you are thinking, how you are behaving, how you are emoting. Genius matrix model, we have 3 levels: break, build, beyond. Break, build, beyond. Without breaking the old matrix, you can't get into the new matrix. Because decode your ego matrix, your mind matrix, your childhood conditioning, your belief cages, your influences, family words, schooling, media, peers. Don't cry like a girl. This single sentence is enough. Man, if the single sentence is repeating in the home, so that will make the child not to express his emotion. He will try to suppress his emotions. You should be the top ranker or you are useless. This single sentence will has impact on the child. Mental illness is a weakness. మనకు తెలుసు ఇవన్నీ all we are listening, every child is listening all these kind of things at home. Without breaking this, these sentences will create a framework of his thinking. Oh, means boy shouldn't cry. Marks means respect. Respect is equal marks. Marks is equal respect. Rank is equal respect. ఇటువంటి మైండ్ సెట్ తయారు చేస్తుంది. ఓకే రైట్. 3 limiting beliefs they were told in childhood. మీకు చెప్పిన 3 limiting beliefs రాసుకోండి మీ దానిపైన. Take your notes and write down 3 limiting beliefs like this. అమ్మాయిలు అణిగిమణిగి ఉండాలండి, అదొక లిమిటింగ్ బిలీఫ్. అబ్బాయిలు ఏడవకూడదు, లిమిటింగ్ బిలీఫ్. So write down 3 limiting beliefs. Right? You need to break these things. You need to break these things. You need to come out of these limiting beliefs. You need to develop empowering beliefs. That is where we call your belief system influence your emotional patterns and behavioral disorders. So that's why I always say one belief. జీవితానికి the meaning of life is to live. Simply that's it. This is my core belief. My core belief is the meaning of life is to live. That's it. To live happily. Rest of the things are, we have attached so many things to our life. నువ్వు బతకాలి ఫస్ట్, అంతే. హ్యాపీగా బతకాలి, అంతే. అదొక్కటే జీవితానికి అర్థం, పరమార్థం. These core beliefs work as your mental model. They will influence your emotional patterns and they will influence your behavioral disorders. So beyond means expand your mindset, genius mindset. Most systems focus on coping, genius matrix focus on thriving, because the traditional model focus on the coping mechanism. Why should we cope with the things? Why don't we go beyond that? No. They build it beyond. Most systems work. Okay, build. So this is identity formation. Sorry, one slide. So identity is important. How you are identifying yourself? What kind of identity formation is there in the child, in the person? This plays a major role in one's mental health. Identity is the shield against disorder. If you identify that I am strong, so no one can touch you. Okay. When child is not rooted in identity, they are vulnerable to peer pressure, failure trauma, or fear of judgment. You are you, man. So if you are on my Facebook, please go through my previous post on self-esteem declaration. I have posted something on self-esteem declaration. Please go through it. It will give you how to help a child to form the right identity. If the child is not rooted in identity, or the child is not rooted in marks, ranks, and looks and all these things, they are vulnerable to peer pressure. They are vulnerable to failure. They are vulnerable, they are fear of judgment, all these things. So identity is equal to inner compass plus emotional vocabulary plus multiple intelligences. So at Genius Matrix, we don't just treat anxiety. We help them build a resilient self that doesn't break under stress. If you have resiliency, if you have resilient self, so you shouldn't break with the stress, under stress, isn't it? Strong person ఉంటే stress ఏం చేస్తుంది? ఏమీ చేయలేదు. So we need to develop that resilience personality in the children. That identity formation is important. Now I will go back to the third part. Okay. So go beyond. Everyone is fixed in there. That's why మీరు చూసే ఉంటారు ఆ పోస్టులు. I post damn things on the caste, religion, nation, all these things. All these things are matrices. All this works as matrices. Once you go beyond the matrices, the matrix, you could understand the world in a different way. So this, everyone need to accommodate, adopt this kind of mindset. Go beyond what you have now, what you are thinking, what are the limiting you in this matrix. Break that. Build growth mindset, genius mindset, and go beyond your expectations of all. The traditional system focus on coping, but genius matrix focus on thriving, right? Self-actualization is the ultimate vaccine for psychological distress. Self-actualization means a genius or fully functioning person. That will the ultimate vaccine for psychological distress, because he know what he is. He know what are his weaknesses, what are his strengths, what he could do or what he couldn't do. Once you are aware of your pros and cons, you wouldn't distress, right? Teach children how to think, not what to think, right? So that is what a genius matrix says. Though the element and supporting childhood conditioning, so you know pretty well that Freud said that so the personality would get formed by 5 to 6 years. Everyone's personality. So the identity rebuilding depends on, it is supporting theory is CBT, narrative therapy. And genius activation is Gardner's multiple intelligence and Braun Fed Brenner's model of ecological theory of development. How many of you are aware of this ecological theory of development? Please say yes, ecological theory of development. Ecological theory of development. Are you aware of it? If anyone is there, say yes. Type S in the chat box. Right? Okay. Please go through it. Please go through the ecological theory of development. You could understand how the parents, family members, home environment plays a vital role in the child's development. I think you might have gone through this Freud's stages of development and Piaget's stages of development or Kohler's stages of development. So please go through the ecological theory of development. That made me to understand the child well. The influence of the family, the influence of the parents. So emotional mastery, ACT and emotional intelligence theory, prevention focus, so positive psychology and public health. So these are the supporting theories, my development of genius matrix model, right? So this is the final slide. So traditional diagnosis model is like down model, means a trigger event, exam stress, like failure, bullying, conflict. Then the symptoms appear, anxiety, depression, anger, withdrawal, things will develop. Then you will approach a psychologist or psychiatrist or clinical psychologist. They will label you as anxiety disorder, you have depression, you have ADHD, you have this personality, you have that personality. Then treatment. So medication or counseling or after severe symptoms. So then identity becomes diagnosis based. So you feel that I am depressed. I'm anxiety personality. I have this personality disorder. I have that personality disorder. Okay. So this is what traditional diagnosis model. But whereas genius matrix model, okay, it comes from a down to up. Okay. Releasing limiting conditions earlier. Release limiting conditions earlier. First, me limit చేస్తుంది ఏంటి? మీ మైండ్ సెట్ని కానీ మీ పర్సనాలిటీని కానీ మీ మెంటల్ హెల్త్ని కానీ మీ క్యాపబిలిటీస్ లిమిట్ చేస్తున్న వాట్ ఆర్ ద లిమిటింగ్ బిలీఫ్స్ రిలీజ్ ఫ్రమ్ దమ్ బ్రేక్ ఆల్ ది బ్యారియర్స్ physical, emotional or mental. Then develop a strong identity, strengthen core identity early. Means self-awareness, emotional literacy, multiple teachers exploration. Many of the teachers are not aware of the multiple teachers theory. They focus on the marks and ranks only, and they never focus on the other talents of the child. That's the reason for the distress of the children. Develop a strong identity in the child. Then automatically the child will cultivate strong emotional resilience. When the child has strong identity, yes, I can do this, man, I am a winner. Then the child would develop strong emotional resilience. Then build a lifelong psychological that develops lifelong psychological resilience, unique talents, passions, multiple intelligence, delimited, and they wouldn't get into these psychological disorders. So, so genius matrix is identity and potential focused. Potential focused. A genius means, as I told you, it is fully functioning person or self-actualized person for me, according to genius matrix. So it is preventive. It is preventive method. So traditional diagnosis is reactive after breakdown. Genius matrix before breakdown. Before breakdown. So this is about the beyond diagnosis. We need to develop strong children than the repairing broken adult. That I strongly believe it. That is my session for this day. Thank you all. If you have any Q&A,